It's time now for our focus feature. Oh no, before that, let's go to something that is infinitely more interesting. Focus is good, but not as good as James Creed and Media Watch. Good to see you, sir. Lots of celebrities have been, well, backing you, I'm sure, but also backing the presidential candidates. What's the situation? How's it shaking down?
Oh, gosh, the countdown is on, Mark, and a lot of the websites are literally putting a countdown on their homepage. Let's take a look at Politico.com. 9 hours left there before 3 towns in North Hampshire, for example, vote at midnight. So they're really counting it down. The New York Times, speaking of a final last sprint. And also the twist in the email case. The FBI, of course, which reopened the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails, announced yesterday that she was exonerated. That's led to a huge amount of discussion. Those saying, hold on a minute, wasn't it almost 700,000 emails? Some pro-Trump supporters saying that's just not possible. Meanwhile, over at Wired.com, they're saying actually it is possible. If you have automated searches and filtering tools, you can go through hundreds of thousands of emails in 8 days. So Wired saying, we understand your reservations, pro-Trump individuals, but it's not like people are doing this manually. They don't have printouts.
It's one of these things, isn't it? That if the supporters hear something that they agree with, yes, it's true. If they don't, no, it's a lie, or no, there's been manipulation. It seems that everything's really sort of
totally polarised.
Depending
on the website you go on, you'll get a different reading of, for example, the FBI story. Meanwhile, WikiLeaks, that's been the other thorn in Hillary Clinton's side in particular, and they are claiming to be targeted by a cyber attack right now, and they've just released another 8,000 emails, the second batch of DNC leaks. Now, I have to say, a lot of that isn't really getting through to a lot of the news websites, which are really focused on the meat and bones of the election, the final sprint, etc. There may be damaging information in those DNC emails, but it might be a case of a little bit too little and too late for those over at WikiLeaks. Now, the Clinton camp has been warning of any last-minute WikiLeaks whoppers, and the spokeswoman for the Hillary Clinton campaign, the communications director, said, look, if there are any last-minute whoppers, they're probably fake. Now, up to this point, the Clinton campaign has neither confirmed nor denied the authenticity of the WikiLeaks hack. Now, what about celebrities? Every 4 years, there's a whole slew of celebrities saying, we're out of here if the other guy wins or if the other gal wins. George Stephanopoulos saying we're going to up sticks and off to Australia. You have, who else? I'll just quickly
go through them, James.
There's 18 of them here. I'm not sure I'll go through them all, but I will tell you some. Samuel L. Jackson has said, quite literally, if Trump wins, I'm going to move my black ass to South Africa, which doesn't necessarily have the best history for the the black community in South Africa. It's kind of an odd choice, but anyway,
Bryan Cranston there, where's he going? Is he going anywhere?
He said that he's going to go to where is he going? I don't know. I can't remember.
The premiere of Better Call Saul.
Chelsea Handler is going to Spain, apparently, and Cher said she'll go to Jupiter. Now, I think that might be a little bit complicated. Anyway,
which travel zone would that be in then? Jupiter.
She might have to wait for another 4 to 8 years until we have
Richard Branson will probably take
space travel. I quite liked this piece in the Daily Telegraph from the Australian edition. To Canada and beyond, they say every 4 years America's celebrities announce they will leave the US if their preferred candidate doesn't win. These dopey celebs generally nominate Canada as their future home, and then they stay exactly where they are. This time around, some are claiming they'll move to Australia. Try Canada first, please. So the Daily Telegraph is not keen for an influx of celebs. Now, one celeb who won't be going anywhere because he's convinced Donald Trump will win is Clint Eastwood. A lot of tweets under this hashtag, election final thoughts. So for Clint Eastwood, he's feeling lucky. America will be great again. It will be Donald Trump. You also have graphics like this pointing to everybody versus Donald Trump. You've got the media, you've got United Nations, etc., etc., etc. You can see that graphic by a Trump supporter. But of course, this only serves Trump's claim that he is the anti-establishment candidate. If you want to clear out Washington, you vote for him. Now, what else do we have under...
It's very clever for the man who was from a very rich family who's become rich again and sustained that all establishment richness to sell himself as the anti-establishment candidate. It's very clever, isn't it, Brian?
It absolutely is.
And of course, he tells a lot of lies and insults a lot of people, and that's another issue, but at least he's been good at manipulating everybody.
Right. Now, what about Jill Stein? She's the Green Party candidate. No one's really talking about her, but she's saying under that hashtag election final thoughts, let's interrupt the downward political spiral of choosing between two evils. In other words, vote for me. Now, pro-Trump websites, interestingly, are using that argument in their favour. You have Breitbart.com, which is aligned with the Trump campaign, essentially, here they're quoting Jill Stein. They're quoting Jill Stein saying, essentially, if Hillary Clinton's president, it will mean nuclear war, a mushroom cloud waiting to happen. This is the argument that she's quite hawkish and it could lead to conflict with Russia. So you have a lot of pro-Trump people pointing to Jill Stein's argument and saying, vote Donald Trump. Now, what about Donald Trump's Twitter account? Because apparently the keys to his Twitter account have been removed from the man himself. Who
he can't tweet on his own account anymore.
I don't know how they actually did that unless they confiscated his phone or something.
He sellotaped his fingers together, or something.
They're like, look, we're changing the password, Donald. Just stay put. Meanwhile, Barack Obama used that against Donald Trump, saying, look, if he can't handle his own Twitter account, then what hope does he have for handling the nuclear codes? It's an argument that has been made before, but I suppose
the issue is that he lives in his own universe. I mean, he basically it's a parallel existence to everybody else, and he sees things as he sees them.
Right.
And if it doesn't go the way he wants it, everyone's a liar or wrong or twisting or manipulating it.
Absolutely,
it's like a 5-year-old.
He takes it all extremely personally. Now, how to satirise this election? I'll just finish with this point because it's been such a bizarre, over-the-top, excessive, hyperbolic election that the New York Times, this is from a few days ago, looked at the whole issue of how to satirise it. Now, The Onion, which is the most famous satirical news website in the US, they were quoted, "It's hard to turn up the volume when the speaker is already blown out and everyone's ears are already bleeding," the managing editor, Ben Berkeley, said. So they point out in this article in the New York Times that Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton already seem like walking parodies of themselves, and the rhetoric has been so hyperbolic and apocalyptic as to be virtually beyond satire. Now, I'll just finish with one point of satire because I think this is quite hilarious. I've seen it doing the rounds of social media. So excited for the season finale of America. That by Mark Peters. So we are in the season finale now, and I think a lot of people are...
If only it was fiction.
Yeah. Truth is stranger
things
than.
have happened, haven't they? James, thank you very much. James Creedon with Media Watch.